Hello everyone, the Worldly Penguin here. First full day where I am completely alone, solo traveling. My good friend Jirai, big shout out to you for the awesome 2 weeks we spent together. It was awesome between going to Hakone, skiing and snowboarding together, to trying out all the different little izakayas and meeting a lot of new people. It was a lot of fun, so thank you for that. So far it's been now 2 weeks that I've been in Japan, and I want to do a quick little video of some things that I've kind of noticed and popped out to me and seemed a little bit different. It's a total of 10. It's a nice easy list of 10 different differences and observations that I've noticed so far. The first one, and definitely the most noticeable, is just the cleanliness so far that I've seen. There's a lot of vending machines, very little trash cans, but regardless, there's hardly any trash on the floor anywhere. The whole city is very clean. There's not a lot of homelessness, or at least not apparent. So that's definitely the number one thing I've noticed so far. Second one is the number of convenience stores. I'm talking about 7-Eleven, Lawson's, and Family Mart. They're everywhere. There's one, if not on every corner, on every other corner. There's even sometimes when you see two of the same one, just by looking around, that available, and they sell everything that you might need on a regular day. So a lot of snacks, a lot of ready-to-go meals. They have a lot of drinks, alcohol. They have a lot of those face masks that a lot of Japanese people wear. Any small cold medicines, candies, and whatnot. So very good for traveling people because it's also very cheap to eat there. You can easily have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and have something different each day. The third thing that I've noticed, it's the difference in building heights. I know it sounds strange, but sometimes you see buildings that are just 2 stories high next to high-rise buildings that are easily 10 and up, and then you have a medium-sized building of maybe 4 or 5 floors. And similar to that, each building, there's always a little bit of space between each building. I still need to find out if it's maybe because of earthquakes, so they don't want the buildings to touch, so there's a little bit of movement that can happen. But it's often very interesting to see just how there's so many different buildings and construction types right next to each other. And sometimes there's even buildings that are just small, thin rectangles, and there's nothing really around them. So very big difference there. The fourth point would have to be the amount of shrines. If you think Europe has a lot of churches, Japan has so many shrines, and you have shrines who are big complexes, but you also have some that are just really tiny and at a corner street. So people can easily just go on their way to work and make a little prayer to the gods. There's a lot of different gods in Shinto, but there's also Buddhism as well. So there's 2 types of shrines, but really interesting to see them. You can easily spend a whole day walking around and only going from one shrine to another. The fifth observation that I've had in these 2 weeks is, regardless of what time I was walking out and about, there's always someone in the street. You always see people around. It's never, or at least Tokyo, I've noticed, never becomes this ghost town type of place. There's always people out and about. Especially in Tokyo, there's always something to do. A little bit less in the countryside. In Hokkaido, it calms down more in the evenings. and especially in Hakone and Kamakura as well. The evenings ended a lot earlier, but in Tokyo there's so much to do at night. The sixth point would have to be the friendliness that people have here. It's even though we don't speak Japanese, or we try, people are always really welcoming, and they try to help you even if they don't speak English. There's a lot of English menus in restaurants. For restaurants, I would recommend sticking away from restaurants that look too westernized. Go for more traditional ones, and then usually they have Japanese menus, English menus, sorry. I've only had one restaurant where they didn't have any, and then it's just a guessing game, but I like food, so it doesn't bother me too much. Sticking with food, the seventh point that kind of surprised me a little bit, even though I knew about it a little bit, is just all the different types of foods that are available in Japan. A lot of people, when you hear Japan, you think, oh, you have sushi and ramen, but there's so much more. There's shabu shabu, where it's a dish with onions cooked in water, and then you put on a type of fine ham, kind of like prosciutto, if you will. Let it cook on top, and then with your chopsticks you just take it with some of the onions below and eat it. Very good. Between that and just the different Japanese curry that you don't hear about a lot in Europe and whatnot. So, and the izakayas as well, the small little pubs where they grill little meats on skewers. Very good late night snack as you're going out and drinking. Definitely recommend those. The eighth observation that I've noticed is just fashion in general. You see that girls here wear a lot of platform shoes, and it's not something you see a lot in US and Europe, platform shoes in general. And also the style of clothes looks very much like vintage type of clothing, a little bit of a 70s and 80s feel about it, but still very well dressed altogether, which is really nice to see. I don't know if maybe you can see some of the people's styles around me. I don't want to take the camera and show too much and be a creep. But yeah, clothing, very cool, very different. Not my style per se, but it looks very nice. The ninth point is what these little things are. They're called icy cards, and they're very different all over Japan. You can get one in Tokyo. You simply put some money on it, and you use it for public transportation, trains, and even convenience stores accept them. It's a simple swipe type of mechanism, very useful to have, and it makes going in and out of subways super easy. Even if you don't have a pass, you go in, you swipe it, and then when you exit, you swipe it again, and it calculates your distance and the fare, and it takes it out automatically. So very useful to have. Anyone coming to Japan, the first thing you should get is one of these bad boys. And then the last point that I've noticed is smoking. It's still allowed to smoke in bars in Japan. So if you don't like the smell of smoke, or you're a little bit allergic, I want to say, to it, Japan isn't the best for that. But in addition to smoking inside, they also have some little smoking stations. You cannot smoke anywhere you want outside. The only place you can smoke outside is next to one of these little smoking stations. So that's an interesting little contrast between allowing you being able to smoke inside bars and restaurants, but not being able to smoke anywhere outside. Definitely a cool little difference that I've noticed. But so far Japan's been a real blast. I'll be starting vlogging a little bit more now that I'm alone, just as a way that I can still talk to an audience. Hopefully you enjoyed this little series and the first video of the Worldly Penguin. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, so that's where you can get notified of any new videos coming out before they get onto the blog. And peace out, take it easy.